The aim of this presentation, is just to consider and obtain some feedback from you all. Options for future service drainage service levels. So I'll explain what that looks like and what that is. Principles that guide the development of future drainage tariffs. Tariffs being the bill, cost of drainage, and options for simplification of the drainage tariff structure, or how you see your bill. So some overall context, across the whole GMID, there's been a lot of work done over the last couple of years with a drainage management strategy, which is available, and if anyone's interested, we can give you a copy of that. There's a lot of assumptions underpinning past drainage, so there's a lot of history and historic issues that are no longer valid as things have changed within all of our catchments over the GMID. The current drainage tariffs are quite complex. They're difficult to understand, not just for customers, but also for a lot of staff trying to explain all the 22 separate fees and charges on a lot of properties are on the GMID. So we're keen to try and simplify that for everyone. Drainage is still a very vital part of sustainable irrigation, but the benefits from drainage have changed and are significantly different across especially different parts of our region. So they'll continue to change. Things will be unpredictable, but we're looking to try and reduce some of that complexity so that we can be a bit more adaptable with drainage service in the future. So options for drainage service levels. The context around drainage service level is we have a vision. So the drainage service vision is our drainage systems are managed adaptively and sustainably to support viable agriculture, regional communities and enhance environmental and cultural values. The service goals are really to align and adapt drainage services to regional changes in land use, and that is any continued change as well. Drainage services are valued by our customers. Services are cost effective and financially sustainable, and we also meet our obligations in a regulatory sense. So with this drainage service level, what we're talking about when we're talking about a drainage service level is how you see the maintenance and operation of the drains physically out on the ground. So we looked at some different service levels, and the three that we're going to go through for your input is what we would call traditional. So that would be sort of pre-drought sort of maintenance level. So irrigated maintenance level similar to when there was really widespread intensive irrigation. A very set cyclic management approach that would have sort of the same standard every year, regardless of any weather patterns or changes. A good standard of maintenance, a very fixed maintenance regime, and then also surveillance and compliance activities that are attached to drainage, dedicated drainage staff, and also diversion management activities. We're also looking at number 2 is a fit for purpose. So what do we mean by fit for purpose? Which is more of a contemporary service level that reflects the variability in the catchment. So that's varied weather patterns, that cyclic of, heavy rainfall and drought, and the change of land use. An adaptive risk-based management approach. So that's really looking at sort of different catchments, could be different areas, what's happening on the land, being able to make changes when we need to. An active management decision making based on assembled information, so that's looking out in the field. A reasonable standard of maintenance aligned with risk and need. So that's really trying to tailor it to make sure that we're making it cost effective and that it meets the needs of all of our customers in our area. Surveillance and compliance activities would be part of that, and there would be no active diversion management within that. Agricultural, road, environmental and also cultural heritage benefits for drainage would also be safeguarded. Then the last one that we looked at would be more of a low-cost option. So that would just be a very basic, tolerable service level. That would have a very simple management approach, minimum standard of maintenance, so that may not meet everyone's expectations, but it would be at low cost. There would be drain condition would maybe a bit rough and ready, but it would work in most instances. That would be largely reactive to landowner complaints. That's sort of how we would see that. And then there would be a risk of some customer dissatisfaction, and it also would expose us to some legal liability. There would be minimal surveillance and compliance activities, no diversion management, and also there would be no active compliance function to manage any drainage course declaration or any obstruction with assets. So the other thing we wanted to have a talk about today was also the development of future drainage tariffs and how we can simplify those tariffs. So again, the tariff is the cost, the bill, how complicated that is, what you see when your bill arrives to do with drainage. So some principles to be discussed there are tariffs should be transparent and easy to understand and explain, which is the feedback that we've got over a very long period of time from our customers and also our internal staff. Tariffs should be simple and have a low administrative cost. They should be sufficient revenue for the efficient delivery of the services required. So that's going back to what sort of level of service do we want, and then how we can actually deliver that effectively. Tariffs should align with benefits as far as being cost effective and practical. Tariffs should also accommodate changing circumstances without cost of adjustment. So if we can simplify how the bill is shown and how it's described in the administration around that, any changes that have to happen in the future, again, will be a lot simpler. An appropriate balance between principles should be achieved. So some options that we've looked at for simplification of the drainage tariff would be the removal and reduction of the variable component or the water use on the bill. Also removal or simplification of the individual property rating, which property rating you will see historically was the 1 to 8 or a 25% or 100% as you'd see on your bill now. The amalgamation of current drainage tariffs, for example, individual tariffs, Eastern, Central and Western, so that would simplify and be in line with how the areas are set up now with the amalgamation of area, and then a connection charge regardless of the property size. So the questions we'd like you to consider today, and if you can provide some feedback. Number 1 would be which drainage service level option, which is the maintenance level that we were speaking about before, the fit for purpose, the low cost and the traditional, which one do you think would be best for Goulburn Water customers and the broader region? 2, do you have any thoughts on simplifying drainage tariff, so the way that you see the bill and the way that it's structured? And 3 would be just any other feedback that you would have for the drainage service plan development before we come back and talk to you again next time. Thanks for your time.